इमाय धम्मान् धम्मपटिपन्ने बुद्धं पूजे धम्मं पूजे संघं पूजे. I worship the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha by following their teachings and practicing accordingly. May this offering be accepted. हम लोग चर्चा कर रहे थे शिव कल से अनात्म बोध की कि अनात्म बोध को कैसे हम जीवन में उतारने की प्रयास करें. पहले हमने उसका बेसिक थियोरी समझने की कोशिश की, जिसकी काफ़ी कई बार चर्चा हो चुकी है इस संदर्भ में भी. अनंत लक्षण सूत्र और गिरमानंद सूत्र के आधार पे. और हमने ये भी देखा कि किस तरह भगवान समझाते हैं कि what is not yours, you should not be worried about it. So if things are there which are not yours and when they die or they finish or somebody burns it out, तो why should you worry? जैसे तुम महाकम जो सूत्र था, ना तो महाम को ये तुम्हारा नहीं है तो इसलिए क्या चिंता करनी चाहिए. And then if 5 khandhas are not ours, what are we? What's going on in this world really? And we try to answer it in the light of teachings of the Buddha. Sankhara pachya vijnanam, vijnana pachya namrupam. And the fact that our body is essentially a manifestation of our karma. Whatever karma we have done, that manifests in the form of body and continuously undergoes a change as the Sankhara pachya vijnanam, vijnana pachya namrupam tells us. And we also saw how Shuddhimagga rather poetically puts it, that there is no doer of a deed, but or one who reaps the deed's result. Phenomena alone flow on. No other view than this is the right. So, having understood all this, हम कई बार चर्चा कर चुके हैं अनात्म बोध की, अभी पिछले 3 हफ्ते में भी और उससे पहले भी कई वर्षों से बहुत गहन तरीके से उसको समझने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं नाना प्रकार से. प्रश्न ही उठता है कि why is it not a felt experience, isn't it? So I've been reflecting on it for some time. Why is it not a felt experience? So एक बात ये समझ में आई कि फ्रेमवर्क थियोरेटिकली क्लियर है, इंट्यूटिवली भी लगता है कि ये ठीक ही है, इसमें कोई ऐसी इंट्यूटिवली कोई कमी नहीं नजर आती, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं कुछ हो रहा है जिसके कारण हमारे अनुभव पे नहीं आ पा रहा है. तो जब विचार किया इस पर तो लगा कि हमारे जीवन का जो धर्रा चल रहा है उसमें जाने अनजाने में सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ जो है वो बड़े स्टेल्थीली हमारे हर क्रियाकलाप में सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ आ ही जाता है, वो पता ही नहीं चलता हमें, और बड़े इनॉक्यूअस तरीके से. तो मुझे लगा कि हमको कुछ फैक्टर्स आइडेंटिफाई करें जिसके कारण दिस सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ सीप्स इनटू योर माइंड विदाउट एवर बॉदरिंग, बिकॉज़ वी डोंट थिंक. आई एम ऑलवेज थिंकिंग कि मैं हूँ, या मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, या मैं खाना खा रहा हूँ, या मैं काम कर रहा हूँ. वी आर नॉट ऑलवेज थिंकिंग लाइक दैट. Yet the sense of self does not seem to go away in spite of repeated reflections on the Anatta Lakkana Sutta and the Dhamma Chakravartana Sutta, Aditya Paryaya Sutta, Gemananda Sutta. Still, it holds on. So some of these factors आपको हो सकता है लगेंगे बड़े trivial सी बातें कह रहे हैं, but to me it seems that they are pretty pretty important, though they seem trivial really, and which are related to our day-to-day way we work. Day-to-day हमारा language जैसे है, हमारा काम जैसे हम करते हैं, कन्वेंशन जो है हमारी सोसाइटी की, उनसे बड़ा फर्क पड़ रहा है. सबसे पहली चीज है नाम जो हम देते हैं. मेरा नाम पीएल धर, राजेंद्र जी, दीप्ति, निलय, सो ऑन. और नाम फिक्स्ड है. तो निलय को मैं पिछले इतने 7-8 साल से जान रहा हूँ. राजेंद्र जी को लेके तो मैं 60 साल से जान रहा हूँ. 60 years I know him. And his name is the same. Of course, we don't call each other by our full names. We have our own pet names for each other. But that has continued the same thing. I know him from the time when we were both, I was 9 years, he was 10 years old, something of that time. So it's more than 60 years. And I think he's the same person, he's the same person, he's the same person. Obviously he's not. If I just reflect, it's changed drastically. We're all both 4 feet. Today we are 5'6", 5'7". Our weight, our body, our thinking, our perceptions, our way of reflection, our abilities, everything has changed. But the name remains the same. So, and unknowingly, we presume there is some fixed person who is there. और अब तो शक्ल थोड़ी बहुत समय के साथ बदल जाती है, तो but we can relate it. हाँ, if I see him, it has not happened ever that I see him after many years. But if I see him after a long time, when he was studying in Srinagar, then probably we met much less frequently. But still could recognize him easily because within 1 year, shakal mein change nahi hoti. And we identify a person primarily by his form. Very intimate person you can identify with respect to his habit patterns, आदतें बदल गई या सोचने का तरीका बदल गया and so on. पहले कुछ खाना खाते थे, अब कुछ और खा रहे हो, habit बदल गई, तो we can recognize like that. But primarily it is the form. But even that changes. Unfortunately, now we have even more fixed identity. आधार नंबर है, अब तो फिक्स ही हो गया, उसको तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते आप. Now you have a PAN card and it's fixed for your life. So you're fixed. As if the person is fixed. It may seem very trivial point, but it's a very subtle way in which the identity gets fixed up. There is a person called P.L. Dhar, there's a person called Rajendra Kachru, there's a person called Nila, and so on. And he has this number, of course, fixed number. We forget it's just a convention. It's not the reality. And this issue of convention versus reality keeps on bothering us every now and then. Every now and then it keeps on bothering us, and we don't really penetrate it in that manner. And same thing is true of convention of language. कोई भी sentence बोलना है तो उसमें subject होना चाहिए, verb होगा, object होगा. बगैर subject काम ही नहीं चलता है. तो अगर मेरे हाथ में दर्द है तो मुझे have to say I have pain in my hand. So there has to be a subject. There has to be an object. And that becomes my. Now I'm saying it as a matter of fact. I'm not remembering कि ये मेरा हाथ है और ये मैं हूँ. But when I say it again and again and again, somebody telephones me and says, कैसे हो? I have fever today. So I have fever? Is it really true? Or is it a conventional way of saying so? I am very angry with him. I am very sad. So what is happening? Sometimes we are identifying with the body, sometimes with the mental state, sometimes with the perception, and we don't even note that. It always becomes I. And of course, many times suggestions are given that you can use passive voice. It's possible many times. There is pain in the hand, body has fever, but that's not the way we normally talk. If you start talking like that, you will think something is wrong. And many times you can't use passive voice. I can't say she's wife. I have to say she's my wife. There'll be a problem otherwise. So you have real difficulties. Language is a big problem. The way our language is operative, it's a very big problem. That's why I say कि शब्दों की सीमा है, आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. But they're very simple things, but they happen so frequently that they kind of instill in you the sense that somebody is there. There's a fixed person. And that sense of impermanence, that sense of impersonality, all lost. So what do we do? Always remember, it's just a convention, just a convention, just a convention. So you have to really break through this taking of conventions as reality. Then another factor which I find is quite prevalent is the lack of tranquility, restlessness, prapancha, which constantly keeps on happening. And I'm thankful to Shilesh who pointed this out. This morning he sent this comment. So unconscious thinking increases the sense of self. We don't even know it. It's happening now. I'm walking down and thinking, उसने मुझे ऐसा कह दिया, उसको ऐसा नहीं कहना चाहिए था. वो मैं देख लूंगा, मैं आऊंगा तो फिर मैं इसको ऐसा करूंगा, फिर मैं ये करूँ. All this is going on. There's always a person. There's always a person. The other person is a person. I am a person, and constantly that thought is going on. And I keep on reinforcing. Because the way you think, the way you behave, that's how it gets imprinted in the mind. So if we have some tranquility as our background mental state, which means हमारी समाधि अच्छी है, तो प्रपंच कम होगा. प्रपंच कम होगा, unconscious thinking नहीं होगी ज़्यादा, तो उससे जो sense of self में increase होता है without our knowing, that may be reduced finally. But we must also remember that tranquility only suppresses this. It doesn't eliminate sense of self. So, and in fact, there's a big caveat. अगर आप समाधि की tranquility को personally ले लेंगे, personal achievement, so you're in real trouble then, because then you have really raised your ahankara. You become not only ego, it has become a pride. So it's a real big burden to carry. So while tranquility and samadhi is a very good practice for reducing the increase in self, developing panya is the really only way. There's no other way to look other than looking at the reality as it is and breaking through the deceptions of appearances. Another thing which I've noticed is that, and which I think is almost the observation of all of us, that we tend to take experiences personally. Whatever experience happens, we all come across various lok dhammas. Sometimes we have praise, sometimes blame, sometimes gain, sometimes loss, sometimes success, sometimes failure. In each of these experiences, we take personally. And we've been taught a number of times. Well, how do you avoid it? Please be mindful, practice satipatthana. There we are told again and again. Whatever feeling arises, be aware. Feeling at any sense door, be aware. Sukham vedanam vedyamani. Sukham vedanam iti pajanati. सुखद वेदना का अनुभव हो रहा है तो जानता है सुखद वेदना, उसको जानता है ताकि उसके प्रति रिएक्शन ना करे, प्रतिक्रिया ना करे, उसके प्रति राग ना जगाए, and so on. For all sense doors, and much more important for mental states. मन में राग जाग रहा है, मन में द्वेष जाग रहा है, and we are just allowing it to captivate us, तो sense of self बढ़ता ही चला जाएगा. जितनी तृष्णा जागेगी उतना sense of self बढ़ता ही चला जाएगा. So more mindful we are, more observant we become, we observe this, the increase in sense of self will be curtailed. And practice of satipatthana, especially at the sense doors, Specifically, it prevents the sensory interactions from going out of control. It prevents the increase in sense of self, because sensory interactions जैसे जैसे चाहे वो क्रेविंग हो चाहे वर्शन हो, जैसे वो आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल चले जाएंगे, उसको नहीं देख पाएंगे, तो प्रतिक्रिया होगी और आत्मभाव बढ़ेगा. It doesn't mean that if the pleasant experiences हम भागना शुरू कर दें. There's a beautiful phrase in other literature in Kathopanishad. It says, "Tena tyaktena bhunjita." Whatever experience is there, you can enjoy it. If it is pleasant, okay, no problem. But tyaktena, with the sense of no attachment to it, which is possible only when we are mindful. We are getting delicious food, we are mindful. Oh, good. That's a pleasant feeling at the taste, pleasant taste which you are experiencing. Fine, good. Don't make it into an addiction and make it into a big deal. And then another thing which I have found personally quite helpful, I mean, it may or may not be helpful to everybody, I can't really say that, is the example, is the investigation of experience, a detailed investigation of every experience, so that we can see how this sense of self is creeping in without even our being aware of it. I'll just give one example because I think time is coming. Say I've been having this pain in my hand for last 2 weeks, recurrent pain and all that. It arises, comes for some time, goes away. So how did I say? I am having recurrent pain. That's the way of speaking, the manner of speaking. What do you do? You can't say there is pain in a hand. It doesn't look courteous enough even. Now, I thought, let's see, can we not investigate who is having this pain? Can we investigate that? So I just sit down, actually, and see, okay, let me firstly calm down the mind if necessary, and then experience the pain. And then let this question sink. Who is experiencing pain? Who is having pain? I think I just now said I am having pain. So let me find out who is this person who has got the pain. Is there some real Dhar who's experiencing it? Now, once you go with that question and don't think anything, the mind just comes to a stop. There's nothing it can, no answer is available. It's just complete silence, absolute silence. All that remains is the experience and its awareness, nothing else. Not even any outside thought will come, because the question prevents everything else from coming in. So you can't find anyone really. And then your background knowledge, your study of Dhamma, study of science, everything automatically provides you with the answer. Yeah, it's happening due to certain conditions. Something is happening there's a change of conditions in the fingers, in the hands. Whatever be the reason, that's for doctor to find. Some conditions have changed, and some nerve is getting pressed, and the nervous system is transmitting signal to the brain, and that is interpreted as a pain. And that is how the brain has evolved after millions of years of evolution, because it's a safety mechanism. So all that is happening is there's awareness of the body, and associated with that awareness, there's a Vedana arising. And that awareness of the body is a natural phenomena. The consciousness is a natural thing which is present. And because my attention is diverted to the hand, so it manifests through body consciousness. And consciousness manifesting through the body experiences the pain, because it is a part of the mental factors associated with the consciousness, and that is experienced as pain. So there is an experience, of course. There's no one who is experiencing it. It's a natural phenomenon. It's all conditioned and determined by normally so many conditions. Then what is the problem? And then you sit quietly and see what is the problem. Well, actual problem is not that I am experiencing pain. Actual problem is I don't like this experience. That's the problem. Oh, so let's find out who is it that who doesn't like this experience. Again, sit quietly, quietly. Who doesn't like this pain? Again, mind is absolutely still. It can't answer. There's no answer to this. And after being still for some time, the panya arises, knowledge arises. Yeah, there's the instinctual response. You have been keeping on telling these are our instincts. Yeah, unpleasant feelings. You want to push them away. You don't like it. Resist it. This is what is meant by patika sanyojana. And that's also very necessary. It's a part of safety mechanism of the nature. So that's it. Oh, so that's it. So what is happening is there's a apyehi sampayogo dukkho. That is what is happening. Oh, so it's first noble truth. I see. So then I think I know then. So we can analyze it through the Four Noble Truth paradigm and figure out. There is suffering, and of course there is suffering, but there's no one who is suffering. That's very clear. We already analyzed it so many hundreds of times that there's no doubt on that issue. So there's no one who is not liking the experience. It's actually a false association with the experience, assuming I am the experiencer. Well, there is no one there. So all sensory experiences, I feel, it's not necessary that every time you do it. It's helpful if you do it a few times till you are fully convinced. I've done it a few times, and you get convinced. Yeah, of course, there's no. This is just a thought which is arising. I am experiencing just a thought. I don't like it. I know it's not liking. But what happens is that if you're not convinced about it, if you're not really absolutely clear, and you're not investigated a few times actually and figured out that it's not so, you can get trapped in it. You eat a good free food and an ice cream and wonderful, oh, maza aa gaya, and you enjoy it. You forget it's just a experience of this. Mujhe maza kya aaya? I'm just associating with that pleasant feeling. That's all. Kisko maza aaya? So these kind of thought experiments, I found them quite helpful. And in understanding how the sense of self gets perpetuated and how you can really prevent it from getting intensified. So I think I should stop here, and we can discuss other factors tomorrow. So what I would request is that in the meditation till 8:15, let us try to practice it and see. Take up an experience which you have had today or now if you're having, and figure out if you like it, okay. If you don't like it, pleasant, unpleasant, it is painful, find out who's happy about it, who's not happy about it, who's having this experience of pain or experience of pleasant. Is there somebody who's having it or not? Actually, investigate by sitting and meditating. Of course, theoretically we have studied it, but we investigate by actually trying to figure out what's going on and seeing for ourselves whatever I have said, verifying its correctness, and again request you, during the day tomorrow, if evening, if you find any observation on these points or anything else pertaining to this generic question, why is it not becoming our felt experience? Why is this understanding of anatta not becoming our felt experience? So if you would share, that would be very nice, because then it will help me to think and reflect upon it deeply and share with you. Thank you very much. So